Okay.
All
Hang
right.
on. A little relay.
All
Okay.
right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bronies Synonymous episode 2, The House That Divides Us. This is the episode where we're going to talk about the Equestria Girls universe and how it splits the fan base, even after 2 years, pretty much right down the middle. We've got with me here is Sapphire Heartsong,
Yo.
The Music Reborn,
Hello.
Mad Munchkin,
Hi.
Anime Wolf Gamer,
Hello.
J Fox,
Greetings of Pegasisters, of Bronies, and members of all fandom.
Laura Rose Severs, otherwise known as Rose Pal,
Hey there, everybody.
and of course me, Postscript of the Brony Crusaders, your host. So we're going to try and do this the same as we did the previous episode. We're just going to start off with talking about the movie and its effect on the fan base. Specifically, you guys can talk about whether you liked it or not and the different reasons why. And really, it's just about that. It's pretty much, how it affects the fandom and how it's affected the fandom's view on either the show or maybe the movies themselves being either accepted or rejected because of various reasons. So who would like to go first?
Oh, I would.
All right, go ahead.
If you want my opinions on the movies, so far I will say this. When I first saw and heard about this, I was actually one of the people who defended and said, guys, wait until it comes out before you go and judge the thing like it's some sort of like the next Doom or something. And when I actually saw it, it sort of ended up, let's just say that back then I was not a very smart person, considering the fact that I keep shooting down everybody who said, you're not a true fan if you like the movie. Yeah, I used to be that person. But now, considering now, I just found the first movie to be okay, and that's just it. Okay. It wasn't until the second one that actually showed that they're still putting effort into it.
Okay, how about its effects on the fan base itself and what you've observed of such?
Well, the effects from what I've seen, considering that I seem to happen to see this mostly everywhere that I go, so far it's like, it's like you either be the, oh come on, it isn't that bad and it's actually pretty good, to the, no, we must shun the thing so Hasbro will stop making these, despite the fact that they did not know how the company works.
That it?
Wait, there's also and come to think of it, there's also how when people view this, there's always one factor that pretty much goes and affects a viewpoint, and that is how they usually compare it to the show. Mostly on how the fact that the movie came in so abruptly and everybody was caught off guard that they went back to the high school setting. That is where you'll either say that it's just another movie, or you feel like that it's just an insult to the original show.
Of course, there's also been the statements that Lauren Faust has made about the movie and the fact that if she was still on staff with it, this would have been what drove her off, because it was the one thing that she herself didn't want, was just, the whole high school or kind of schoolgirl setting. And
Typical high school girls.
relatively close, yeah. So, if you don't have any other thoughts, who else would like to go next?
I would.
Sure.
Okay, so the thing about Equestria Girls is that I knew from the beginning this was probably just going to be like something fun, something that's like a side diversion, than like it's something that I knew it was a cash grab, because I think everyone in their right mind knew that this was going to be more of a cash grab. But the thing is that you can, even for like just look at Disney, they've made a living off of cash grabs, and they still are able to make really, really good material off of this. The first Equestria Girls, I saw it was okay. It had some effort into it, in some places, but in other parts I saw it, okay, it's a cash grab. But then as I look more forward into Equestria Girls 2, and especially the latest music videos of, like, say, My Past Is Not Today and Friendship Through the Ages, I see a lot of effort being put into it, and I'm actually kind of excited to see where they go with it.
Jay, you have a lot of, or
Okay.
somebody has background noise.
Oh, sorry about that.
And let me put my headphones in. See if that helps.
Okay, but I'm going to plug my earphones back in too, just while you're doing that.
I have my earphones in.
You mentioned that Disney was actually really good at cash grabs, and I think this new Minion movie that they're talking about releasing here pretty quick is another one of those things, because they noticed how popular these little characters are getting.
Well, wait, Minions, as in...
Yes, the Minions from the Despicable Me.
Well, I said
movie.
That was
Disney.
DreamWorks, not
Oh.
Disney.
No, that's Blue Sky.
That was Blue Sky, yeah.
That was Blue Sky?
Or Sony.
Okay.
Either way. Not
Yeah.
Disney.
Any kind of American animation studio has done it, really, so... But Disney has done it for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who knows how long they've been shoving Mickey Mouse in everyone's faces.
Yeah, funny thing is, he hasn't had a full feature, so...
I thought they ignored him. Like the only thing that I remember is his shorts right now, which is sort of hit or miss at best.
Eh.
Who am I?
Yeah, to be honest, I sort of gathered into this
But yeah,
way.
you mentioned earlier that there were good and bad aspects to, cash grabs. And I think that really just depends on the writers, which may be one of the big reasons as to why the second movie was so popular, is because they actually fucking listened to the fan base, or at least they noticed the problems themselves, whichever one it was, on what was wrong with the first movie that they basically corrected for the second one.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for MLS to just completely write Equestria Girls 3 and just completely retcon everything, which would be hilarious.
Well, we already know at least one
Oh,
thing is
yeah.
going to be retconned, and that's how the magic of friendship works in the world of Canterlot High.
True.
Because they've already this third movie that's fixing to be coming out this next year is going to wind up. It already has a title released. It's Rainbow Games or something along those
Friendship
lines.
Games.
So
Friendship Games.
they're not going to have the musical theme or the rock band theme going for it like they did for Rainbow Rocks, which was supposed to be what powered their magic this last time around. Originally, it was supposed to be the element of magic itself, and then it was the music and their connection or something like that. I could probably try and make a whole video about that myself, but they're going to have to retcon that anyway if they're going to do something about games, about competitive sports.
No, I'm surprised they're actually using that as a backdrop again. Like after the Equestria Games. Now
Well, that may be why they're trying to do it, is because they're trying to kind of repair the damage that the mistakes that they made with the Equestria Games was.
Though to be fair, I could think that maybe so many other people who still wanted the games probably did not expect it to be in there.
That'd be absolutely priceless, is trying to see somebody's response to, I can't believe they didn't do the games for the Equestria Games. Why weren't the games in the games? And but I can't stand Equestria Girls. Well, that's where your games are going to be. Tough luck.
Oh
kid.
boy.
See, at this point, it's pick your poison: Spike or Equestria Girls. Which one would you rather have?
Spike.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to this one, and I enjoyed Equestria Games myself, and my review on it kind of at least tries to cover the topic as to why, but it was also my first video review I did. Anyways, let's see. So we've had Wolf Gamer, we've got music. Who wanted to go next?
I suppose I'll go. When I first heard about the Equestria Girls first movie that came out, first of all, my first reaction was I was kind of surprised that the LLP staff were adapting the world of LLP into a high school setting, and it looked pretty weird to me at first, but after when I watched the first film, it was a pretty good start to the world of Equestria Girls, although there were loads of hiccups here and there, but despite they had some good moments like the music and the characters themselves. But after watching Rainbow Rocks, which I definitely enjoyed, I soon began to appreciate the Equestria Girls universe as well as the normal MLP universe, and also I agree with music that after watching some of the encore shorts after Rainbow Rocks, Friendship for the Ages, Life is the Wrong Way, and My Past is Not Today, I think the MLP staff are definitely, and the MLP staff are actually put a lot of effort into Rainbow Rocks and those shorts to actually listen to what many people had problems with in the first movie and actually developing them into what was the fandom called it, Rainbow Rocks, far more superior than the first movie. And when I saw loads of comments that the fandom has talking about what the Equestria Girls movies were, and then from some people who reviewed it, so they really hated it and all that. Although there were some people actually liked it for what it was, despite the lots of hiccups here and there. But when it came to Rainbow Rocks, I've seen so many reviewers such as Dwardsnader, Ink Rose, and also I think it was Toon Critic. I think had to change their opinions a little bit on the Equestria Girls, specifically on it's like how the story was more laid out, the character interactions were better, how Sunset Shimmer's redemption arc was actually turned from a bad girl in the first film to a real member of the Rainbooms in the second film, and quite as the best redemption in terms of the MLP villains we had in the series. Like
and
we have with Trixie.
Guitar.
Yep, and she plays guitar, and also how the Dazzlings were the good antagonists, and the songs were better, and it had the amazing final battle as the climax. So I think that by the time when the Friendship Games comes out, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and see how that storyline comes out, especially when after we saw the sneak peek of the Human Wars version of Twilight, and how is she going to discover how Sunset Shimmer and the Human Main Six actually going to discover the real magical friendship during the Friendship Games, and how it actually came to be. So that's what I'm saying.
I had something to say, and I
Yeah.
totally forgot what it was. It was an actual point. You had a lot of different points, though. So I lost track of the one I was going to respond to. Did you want to go next, Sapphire?
I can.
Or did you just have a commentary you wanted to make on what she said?
No, I didn't really have any comments to say. I just, was just there to be there. Okay. So basically just give my thoughts on, Equestria Girls and Rainbow Rocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All
the
right.
universe, and the split between those who like the universe and those who hate the universe and the fandom.
Yeah, I get it. Well,
But
it's been said many times before that Megan McCarthy sucks at making up worlds, but she knows how to build off it. I've actually had moments when it came to Equestria Girls and Rainbow Rocks that they made it terrible on purpose, so they could make the sequel better in a weird way. if that makes any sense.
So you're saying that they made the first movie terrible so that the second movie could kick ass?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but
hey Fox, I think she got the same mindset as you. You're the one who mentioned it first too.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is just kind of an aside to people who are watching. We got a few different, well, we got a couple of viewers at least. If you guys can figure out how to use a Q&A, we'll be able to actually integrate you guys into the podcast. I've got the Q&A system up and running. Still cannot figure out the chat, but I've got the Q&A running.
I have a Q&A blog on my DA as well. Yes, it's shameless.
I'm not sure it's about there. Anyway,
Anyways, yeah, sorry, Safi, you can continue.
Yeah, really. One thing I say, and then everybody just turns off and then goes into that little detail of the conversation. Oh crap, where was I? Blah blah blah. Crap, I forgot what I said, you people.
You said something about how the first movie was terrible, and with the sequel they actually kicked butt.
Well, back when Equestria Girls first came out, I was one of the very few people who was actually open to see what this world had in mind, and I kind of fangirled over it all the way and didn't see why Bronies were like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing in the world, kill it with fire, and all that other crap that people say about the movie. No, I mean seriously, on Facebook when everybody first found out that Equestria Girls was out, this was like my only media access during the time, people were hating on it. It's like, what? I'm actually hoping to see what this is going for and what's going to happen here.
Yay, you are on my side.
Sapphire, this is the internet. Most people on the internet are not like that.
Something different? Most unorthodox! I didn't really see anything wrong with the movie. Then again, I wasn't really in the analysis community during the time and didn't actually give a crap during the time. I just enjoyed it for what it was. But then I started seeing some flaws in it. It's like, alright, well, maybe they'll fix them in the next movie, and I was actually kind of expecting everybody, especially in the analysis community, to hate the movie because you know how sequels work when it comes to that particular formula. Sequels usually tend to suck. And everybody was
you upchuck and have to swallow again. It usually doesn't taste the same.
Yeah, but no, it was a really good movie. I wish it came out a day before because my birthday was on that day. But oh well.
But then your birthday would have been overshadowed by this new movie coming out.
My birthday was overshadowed anyway by that movie coming out on that day. Why is it that the 29th gets more attention than the 28th? Damn you.
That's good. This year the 24th is getting more attention than the 25th.
I'm kind of split in between the two. When it comes to hating the movie or absolutely loving Equestria Girls, I'm on the spot I enjoy the fact that they have this world created, even though Megan McCarthy can't write a new world to save her life. But in the way, I can also see the flaws in the story, and, well, I'm glad that they fixed things in Rainbow Rocks, is what I'm trying to say. Although I wouldn't mind, making fanfics about, Equestria Girls, and I didn't mind the high school setting. I was in high school during the time.
Flashlight OTP.
I didn't really give a crap. That's another thing I kind of hate that...
that's another thing that splits the fandom down the middle, but it's a part of the EG
I honestly don't care
way.
about Flash Sentry. I'm in the part where I'm you know how Corpulent is, Twilight is Corpulent's waifu and whatnot, and how he did that one video with, the Silver Quill thing, except he took it way too seriously and just killed off, Flash Sentry. I don't get the whole waifu stealing thing. I really don't. I mean, I don't care about Flash Sentry that much.
That's because you're female.
Yeah, but I
I'm
still
gonna be
don't
blunt.
get
That's
it.
because you're female.
I don't give a crap if I'm female.
Well, I don't get it either. I don't get it either, and I pretty.
Hey, Fancy Pants stole my waifu. I don't hear anyone else complaining about it.
And to be fair, and let's just say this. I feel like that a lot of people were really surprised about the quality of the first movie because back then we only had 3 seasons, and in that time we saw how it's gradually, well, depending on your viewpoint, like gradually getting better or worse. But you cannot deny that they are trying with the quality that they have at the time. And when you see a movie come down, having only a 1 hour period, I believe, was it 70 minutes? Yeah, 1 hour and 10 minutes, I believe. And when you see the entire movie being an entire slideshow of plot points, you have to ask, how does a person go from writing like writing some of the best episodes, how many people have proclaimed it, to this, and to be so badly. I know there's like a transition of the difference between a movie and an episode, but when you're a good writer, you could at least if you had a much more bigger time, you could at least figure out a way to incorporate all of that in the time limit. That is where many people got caught off surprised.
Another thing that, like, when it came to Equestria Girls was the character of Sunset Shimmer. In a way, I really didn't mind her being a stereotypical bully or whatever. I just didn't see it that way. I just thought she was taking it a little too far and beyond, in my opinion. Although everybody says that the crying face she did was so cute or whatever, no, I thought it was ugly. Sunset Shimmer is an ugly crier.
That was the point when she became
Get ready to have an orange stallion come after you for that.
Okay, we got 2 or 3 others who have not given their opinion yet. Maddie is one of them.
I'm good.
So that's it for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Maddie, did you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm going to try and be as brief as possible because most of what I was going to say has been kind of covered already. But
You'll go first next episode.
oh, don't worry. I don't mind when I talk. I don't mind at all. Anyway, the whole Equestria Girls thing. I was kind of neutral because I was just like, oh yay, a new animated movie, awesome, because I just love anything animated, whether it's a spin-off or not. With the lead up to it, I could understand why people were so kind of up in arms about it, because obviously it goes completely against what the show was initially based on by Faust and everything, and how she was trying to avoid the whole stereotypical setting of girls in a high school and all that kind of thing, and how a lot of movies that are made for little girls are set in high schools and all the girls are all like anorexic and wear high fashion, almost kind of over sexualized characters when they're portraying like 13 or 14-year-olds, even though the characters are not that age in the Ponyverse, which is bloody ridiculous to me. But anyway, the actual visual side of the movies, I think they look great, and the animation. The animation is on par with the show itself, if not slightly better. The story, yeah, it's not airtight at all. There are a lot of problems with it, and I made 2 review videos for each movie, and I haven't watched those movies in a while, and probably my opinion of the movies have probably changed since then. But I definitely prefer the sequel to the first one. But that was mainly because, like most sequels, they have the advantage that the world is already established, so they can expand on it. And unfortunately, the first movie, the world, wasn't given much time to be established, so it was kind of treading on thin ice a little bit, if that makes any sense. But I really enjoyed the second movie because it was focusing on a character that was going or had already been through a reformation and was trying to make up for her mistakes. And I really loved how it was focusing on Sunset Shimmer until Twilight Sparkle hijacked the whole movie, of course, which I brought up in the review for it. I just think it's really strange how the fandom is completely split over whether these movies are accepted, and if you like these movies then you're not a true fan of MLP and all that. And I'm like, well, it's like it's some sort of qualification, like a list of qualifications that you need to be able to declare yourself a true fan. If you like Equestria Girls, you are not a true fan, and all this crap. And I just think that's total nonsense. You just like what you like. Who cares, But yeah, because the whole lead up to it, I can understand why so many people, Anthony C in particular, are they ponies? Well, I still don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, it does have a lot of problems, and I think a lot of people are giving the movies an unfair, just being unfair toward the movies just because of how it's set in a high school, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
But if you kind of treat it as its own thing, and whether you consider it canon or not, it doesn't really matter. I mean, there are a lot worse animations out there. This one, in my opinion, is
guy.
Oh yeah.
If I had kids, I would consider this be like one of the best in quality, both visually and story-wise, because there was so much shit out there, and this stuff is pretty decent in my eyes. I mean, I liked the second one. I didn't really like the first one at all, but yeah, that's my 2 cents worth. But with the actual release of it, the reason for it, which I don't know why people kind of spaced over it, but this was released because it was to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the launch of My Little Pony in the first place. Was it a good way to celebrate 30 years of the franchise? Probably not.
Not really.
No, probably definitely not. But still, people just have to remember that Hasbro is a toy company. I mean, yeah, it's going to behave like a toy company, but they're at the same time, they can't really blame that if they think that the quality of the animations that are produced, is just about cashing in and making money selling toys. They can't use that as an excuse all the time, because it's a separate company that produces the animation, that produces the toys, that's under the same umbrella, but it's different. It doesn't work that way, but yeah. Anyway,
the thing is, if celebrate 30 years with Equestria Girls, I will say this: no matter how you look at it, it is a bad idea from the very start, considering its quality.
When they released the news that they were going to make a feature-length MLP movie in 2017, and I'm like, well, why didn't you do that in 2013? So because that would make such a better celebration of 30 years.
I agree with you on that one.
I kind of wonder if the movies are just as a test to see how much will we actually spend on seeing it in theaters, because these movies, the Equestria Girls movies are having those limited time theater stays where you go buy your ticket, you can see it with your friends or family or something like that.
Yeah, but they only released it to like 50 theaters across the entire U.S.
I believe that might have been like some sort of test to say, wow, these fans really do want to see a movie in theaters. Okay, go tell them that we are gonna make a My Little Pony movie, and then once everybody hears it, everybody's going. Either they're going insane about it, and people are either acting like this is gonna be the final nail in the coffin to kill the franchise or make it better, because
it depends on who's writing it.
Which I know who's writing it. Basically, a lot of people were very skeptical about this guy because we're not gonna see his talent until the announced season 6 because he's going to be in charge of the writing the opener, which I don't know how that's going to go.
What?
I don't pay too much attention to people who
I'm
actually write.
scared.
Has
Well-
everyone gone, by the way?
I'm here. Or,
One more.
Well,
Well, has everyone gone in turn?
Jay
I'll
hasn't.
go last.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Jay, it's your turn.
Alright, folks.
So,
Get
yeah, what are
ready.
your thoughts on the Equestria Girls universe, the movies, and how it split the fandom?
The first movie is a bad movie, and you should feel bad when watching it. No,
That
Yeah,
overplayed
sorry.
reference is overplayed and bad.
Yeesh.
oh, screw you, I thought that was funny.
It's not funny anymore. The internet left a bad taste in my mouth, but go on.
Okay, so
FCC said it.
Hi there.
back when I still had my own channel, me and my friend had thought of doing a review on Equestria Girls if we got enough viewership, and to see how many people want to watch us suffer. Months went by, no updated the subscribers. Then I thought to myself, screw it, I'll just do it on DA. And a lot of my opinions went into what I like to call my gripes with Equestria Girls. And a large portion of it had to do with continuity. How did Shimmer know the elements were active again? How did she know where they were? How did she know about the Crystal Empire? And how did she know about Twilight? None of these things were
Basically,
answered.
every question that the rest of the fandom was asking.
None of these things were answered in the movie. And I didn't care enough to read about it in the crappy little novel that it was based on to find out. So I'm guessing those questions weren't answered at all. And I went into this with comedy being mostly in mind. But yeah, I did go into it with a rather sour mood. First of all, I didn't think Shimmer was that great a villain and didn't really deserve to be called one. She was more of a cliche of the popular bitch who thinks she can do whatever she wants. And making Snips and Snails her henchmen, no, that just didn't work for me.
Well, to be fair, to be fair, a lot of people pointed out why hasn't Silver Spoon and Tiara been the henchmen, because I think their personalities would have matched a little more.
Or Gilda or Light and Dust.
It was probably more just a reference that Snips and Snails were kind of the underlings of Trixie. For both of our episodes, in fact.
And Trixie has its own group too, so maybe they just got shit out of luck.
If Maddie was basically Sunset Shimmer, I think I'd be Snips. After all, I'm a widow minion who will blow you in the face with a rocket launcher if any one of you insults Maddie Senpai.
Oh, never.
This is when I'm glad to have a rocket launcher of my own.
Thank you for the
Note to
rocket
self,
launcher,
never-
Maddie Senpai. I'll also hit you in the head with my keyblade.
Note to self: never piss off Maddie in front of Sapphire.
Never piss off Sapphire, no matter what.
Brother Sapphire's around a lot. It's a bad idea to make me angry. You will not like me when I'm angry.
Do you
It's
turn
also a
green and
bad
get real
idea to
big too?
make me angry. So if you make me angry or make Maddie Senpai angry, I will blow you in the head with a rocket launcher.
Kaboom!
I was actually in a game with him the other day. You know,
Yeah,
Josh
when it
Schwartz.
comes to turning those
Anyways.
characters into humans,
Anyway.
I wasn't that pissed off about it. Though what does sort of get me is that naming the human counterparts after the ponies just doesn't work in some cases. I mean, some examples work, like with Lyra, Luna, maybe Trixie. But what person in their right mind names their daughter Pinky or Fluttershy or Rainbow? That just didn't make sense to me. And
Well, it's just supposed to be a different universe, not necessarily our universe, just more closely resembled by it. I forget which one of the staff members actually made that mention.
You know, I think it was Megan McCarthy herself. Though, you know, if I had to say that if there's one thing that doesn't make it any better about this movie, splitting the fan base and all that, is that how they handle the responses from fans, mostly with how the comic book writers came up in the defense of the writers of the Equestria Girls movie. I know they're being tongue-in-cheeky about it, but the way they go about it is where a lot of people will be very confused of how they see that they'll take criticism in a very good light for the most part. Which I understand. I understand their viewpoint. I understand that I would be pretty pissed too at people who are being pretentious, but I would also not let that cloud my judgment on who is giving me valid critiques that I should take into account.
Here's a question, though. Is why, if this is actually the case, why were those questions from the movie being asked of the comic book writers?
That I don't understand, though, but I believe the comic book writers are mostly, I think they're in the huge defense, and let's be honest, the comic book writers are not that well close with the fan base, especially when I follow Andy Price on DeviantArt. Whenever he makes a response to the fan base, that usually makes a big deal out of it. Especially when Alicorn Twilight appeared in the comic books, he likes to make a huge response journals, and usually he always like basically always tries to tell what's going on. But as a result, when I see the comments on DeviantArt, it's always going to involve a lot of people fighting with each other.
Which is kind of like what has been happening for the past 2 years with the Equestria Girls. That's actually why I decided to do this particular topic.
Yep. There's also another thing I've been wondering about Equestria Girls. Where's all the friggin' porn? No, seriously, where's all the friggin' Equestria Girls porn? We're more than happy to drop pony porn, but where's the humanized pony porn?
You very obviously do not spend any time on Derby Burger with the filter turned off.
Let's not talk about that part, please.
I know, I just couldn't help it.
You guys keep it PG.
This is going up on the TBC channel. There is nothing PG about my channel.
Another gripe I have with this movie: the supposed relationships between Twilight Shimmer and Brad is freaking creepy to me. I went into this fandom with an open mind, but this is essentially
not going to be a real thing.
Two ponies in human bodies were physically attracted to a human. I know that probably doesn't give me a leg to stand on.
Stop clapping to humans! That's bestiality!
That'd be hilarious!
But
isn't that what Lyra does on her spare time?
That's
She doesn't have to clap, she's with Bonbon, remember?
Oh my god.
Still,
why'd you guys have to say that?
I'm sorry, but those two looking at each other in that kind of a way while they were playing the piano in Rainbow Rocks, that ain't just friendship.
Oh yeah.
That's more than friendship.
It's obvious. It was the exact same kind of response as what I saw from like the season 4 ending, the season 4 finale, when Discord winked at Celestia. That's not an "I'm sorry" wink. That's a "I'm gonna try and get in bed with you" kind of a wink.
I
as
know,
to
I love
whether-
you in your dirty mind. How are you still with Rosie, with her innocence? Oh god, you took away her innocence, didn't you?
Most likely.
You bastard!
I ask her all the time what the hell she's doing with me because I very obviously do not have the innocent mindset that she does. She's very well
Okay.
protected in her innocence.
Alright, back to this topic.
Yes, back
Sorry.
to the topic.
I had to bring up the porn thing, didn't I?
Oh,
well,
that was a riot.
well, my opinion on Flash Sentry, well, I was
He's got a
Like-
small cock. No.
Most likely,
hate
though.
you.
Most likely.
Oh my
Well,
god,
you
I
know,
really did ruin this
Well,
podcast.
you know,
didn't I?
like, I think most of us would think that Flash Sentry was just average, you know, and here's the thing, though. I remember,
Most of
you
what
know,
the fandom says about Flash Sentry is that he has no character development. He's just
Yeah.
he is literally a tool in that world, which I think is actually a problem with the entire series. But
that and the fact that here's an interesting viewpoint that I actually got, and this is someone like I was talking to one of the analysts of the Rift Cafe about this, and you know he had a very interesting viewpoint. He said he doesn't, when he looks at Flash Sentry, he doesn't mind him, but however, it kept reminding him of the very notorious stereotype that happens in many girls' animations, and that would be this: the pretty boy that gets the main character at the end, and usually when how they do it, it's usually like this, like basically the boy might not have any character traits, and usually he bumps into the main character and always helps, and then at the end he gets her.
Yeah, Flash to me is basically an orange Pegasus version of Shining Armor, except there's no gross incest joke there. I mean, look at it. He's a blue-haired stallion who's a guard and has a relation to Twilight and needs to be saved by her.
Another thing when it came to Rainbow Rocks that a lot of people complained about when it came to the concept of it, when it came to Flash Sentry, was the part where Twilight was crying. Honestly, I think that was only because
gorgeous.
of...
It was forced.
I thought it was
I
gorgeous.
was
They actually
basically
tried to
thinking,
use
like...
him.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was basically thinking, like, when everybody started hating on him even more because of that, it's like, why would you have to? I mean, sure, it was maybe part of the plot and whatnot, but you can't really blame him. He was, well, under Dazzling's spell, and I just got sick of the whole people hating, like in the, Bronies watch Rainbow Rocks, and the part where Anime James is like, oh my god, we have a reason to hate Flash Sentry. No, you don't. You still have, like, you know,
dare
he
make
was kind
Princess Twilight cry!
Well,
we will burn you to the ground. Well, you can't blame him. I mean, he was kind of stuck under, well, the spell.
The entire fucking
That's all-
world was, actually.
that's all I
And I thought Fluttershy fans were more aggressive.
Yeah, really.
they are.
Fluttershy fans don't know what they're talking about. Twilight is best punny.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's not how you say
Rarity,
it. That's
that's
not how
funny.
you say Pinkie Pie.
Um,
I really need to
wrong.
do I really need to do a party of one thing for my birthday.
If there's also another thing, I think that, like, if there's one thing I'm actually glad that Rainbow Rocks did for Flash Sentry is that he at least is not, not too pointless. I mean, yes, he's controlled, but at least he was able to move and advance the plot a little, and I especially love the battles of the band sequence when he blew off all those hippies.
I thought it was great that they tried to use him as
Damn you hippies! Sorry.
Damn
Bad
you,
South Park
dirty
reference.
hippies! I actually thought it was great that they used
Way.
him as a tool for at least the emotional crutch of the movie, though it was short-lived.
Well, that's the problem that I have with the character is
Sorry.
that he's a walking plot device, really.
I
Especially
wish
for
that
the
they
first
had
movie.
him at least try and apologize to Twilight
Yeah.
after he hugged her there at the end. I'm like, they should have had him apologize at that point for how he acted before, whether he realized he was, under the spell of the sirens or not.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. I always think that
he's been called a joke character by Jerry Pete. He's a joke character poking fun at shipping. I mean, there's absolutely no substance to him beyond good looks and why being attracted to him.
So it's the sparkly vampire virus.
Yes.
Well,
I wouldn't say
Flashlight
it's
is
that
a better
bad, trust
story
me.
than Twilight.
You
Yeah,
know,
Flashlight is definitely a better love story than Twilight.
Sheldon and Amy from The Big Bang Theory is a better love story than Twilight.
Hey, can I say something real fast?
Sure.
The fact that the matter is that Flash or Brad or whatever you want to call him in that universe, the only reason why he's not better is because we don't focus that much time on him. If we had focused more time on him, we probably could know a bit more. Instead, we just get little glimpses of him doing kind of just mediocre stuff.
That's actually kind of close to what we see in the series as well. The male characters take a complete back seat, even to like the stories and even to all the jokes and whatnot that they use within the story.
A big
The guys in
example
the
being
series
Spike.
just take the back seat. So of course, Flash Sentry is pretty much just the pretty boy / rebel / musician that the main character falls for whilst in the confines of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really focus on trying to give him characteristics like they did with Sunset Shimmer, especially for the second movie.
Yep. Ugh.
well, one of the few problems I had with Rainbow Rocks was the way that Rainbow Dash acted at some of the points in the movie. Like because you know that she when she was showing her ego side, like in the which episode was it that her ego went too far? I'm not quite sure which one, but she wanted to. She wanted to show that she kept saying it was her band, rather than saying our band, and the thing that along with the Dazzlings taking control of the students with their spell, and Rainbow's ego was like another point, was another ingredient that added to the main conflict, and nearly broke the main six apart when they were trapped underneath the stage before the climax. And like if it weren't for Twilight and Sunset Shimmer telling them that that if they didn't solve the problem right from the beginning, like they wouldn't have the Dazzlings wouldn't have gotten control of the equestrian magic. So I think Rainbow Dash learned her ways from that, which is a good thing as well. Like she knew that she actually took it a little too far, and decided to go with what the lyrics that Fluttershy wrote in the final battle against the Dazzlings. So that's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Well, we're coming pretty close up on the 1 hour mark. Did anybody else want to add any kind of comments or maybe some thoughts or other points of discussion?
If I could say one thing is this. I kind of wish that fans would stop blowing over this because, if this really is the worst that they can do, if this really is the worst that could come, that like pops up, then I definitely missing something because I've seen, when I was younger, I've seen a bunch of high school movies, and none of them. And while Equestria Girls, you could technically say the first one is sort of close to that pile. It at least had the dignity to not do something too offensive. I mean, seriously, if anything, I think people should. If anything, I wish people would just stop, take a look, and say, it's not really that bad compared to all the other crap that we receive. That and the fact that, at least wait at least wait until the movies come out and see for yourself if it's good or not.
Hmm.
So, is that everything?
Um, well, for me, I'm just gonna say this: just level out your expectations for this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they're expecting like Oscar-worthy type of writing and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what you guys watch, right? You know what the show's based off and stuff like that. You're not. This is not going to be like Beauty and the Beast or anything like that. It's just, it's what it is, and for that, it's pretty good being something that's not really all that well known, to be honest with you. So, to be honest, it's not that bad. I enjoy it. I look forward to the third movie coming out, and I think they said they might have a TV series, which I'm kind of debating on actually seeing once it actually is done, but whatever.
Oh, like I think that might be like I think they might go with it maybe until like the main series is over because I'm really hoping that the MOP movie will be the closing send all to the entire main series while they use Equestria Girls as a spin-off to continue the brand. But that will be just me being wishful thinking at this point.
Well, I guess that seems to be everything. We've already lost Sapphire. So, would everyone like to say their goodbyes?
Well, this is the Anime Wolf Gamer here, and I hope the next day will be even better.
Thank you for hearing my thoughts, and I hope to bring you more in the future.
This has been The Music Reborn. Thank you all for watching.
This is Rosepal saying, see you later, every pony.
I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative. Bye.
And I am Postscript of the Brony Crusaders, and I look forward to seeing some of your comments in the section below.